can you connect with people? We're healthcare workers, but we are in a people industry. And less than 2 years into my career, I'm learning that. It doesn't take a genius to get someone better or back to what they were doing, but can you connect with every different personality that walks in that door? And can you connect with them to make them buy into what you're doing?
All right, Matt Glassoff is a fellow podcaster, so I don't even know if I need to give you an intro or anything like that. Like, I mean, you've done this before.
I've done some podcasting. This is really cool, though. The headset, I feel like I'm calling plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Here we
Birds
go.
Fans here? Yeah, not too far. Here we go.
That's a smart play in New Jersey. Matt, what's your superhero backstory?
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey.
Okay.
So number one here, Jersey.
Good.
Yeah, so what I found as a student, so I've been out for about two years,
Good for you.
little less out of school, out of school, and what I found as a student was that getting involved early within APTA, locally and nationally, really helped me as I, started my journey as.
How did you do that? What had that take form?
I had one professor that just did a plug. I went to school in Connecticut, so from New Jersey, went to school in Connecticut, now practice in Manhattan, so tri-state area.
Yeah.
Professor just said, hey, Connecticut APTA is looking for applications to get involved with the Student Special Interest Group. I raised my hand, and it was a domino effect from there. Next thing, a year later, I was a student chief delegate, going to national conferences, House of Delegates, funded, which I'll get back to, and then just being in rooms, right? So opening up, one thing led to another, national student president the year later, and then I was able to utilize that as I started my career as a young professional. And I think it comes down to three different things, if I will. So I think number one, it comes down to purpose.
Okay.
I think it comes down to experience, and I think it comes down to networking as a young professional. And APTA getting involved led me to all three of those. Purpose.
Okay.
Can I go?
Yeah,
Purpose,
you're in charge.
Purpose is that understanding where we are all at, right? So everything we're doing right now in school that you all are doing right now is trying to get that job, right? Understand like how to function in a clinic and how to do, all that stuff. And that's great, but do you understand where you sit in the greater aspect of this profession? Do you understand who you represent as a physical therapist, right? And so if you give me hot topics in the profession, and I get this in the clinic, like patients always ask me about X, Y, and Z that they're, hot button topics, and I feel like as a professional, I need to understand and explain to people what we as physical therapists represent, and that's knowing what APTA does, right? So that was really cool, and I think it fills my cup. I think it fills your cup because you understand that, we have these issues, but we understand what's being done out there. And,
motion creates emotion. What are we doing about these things? Again, we can go into a Facebook group and complain. Super fun. Drop some emojis. Doesn't do anything. Or we can be busy solving the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Number two, experience.
Okay.
Right? So when you get involved nationally, locally, as a student, you're going to be put in the arena. That means people are sending you all over, funding you to go across the country. So I remember as a student, I went to California, all funded for. We were at Washington, D.C., Portland, Oregon, Kansas City, all these House of Delegates, big conferences that you get funded for, right? And that only lasts so long, like you said, using that cheat code of being a student. And so that was really cool because I was able to expand my mentorship, abilities and outreach. And that really led to me meeting people from across the country, right, that are going to help me and show me what's out there within our profession I had no idea about.
Yeah.
And so that was really powerful.
And what's number three?
Number three was networking,
yes.
right? So I learned that networking was really important as I started out when I was interviewing, right? So I knew I wanted to live in Manhattan. And so I'm walking into these interviews and how am I going to differentiate myself with someone who has no 2 years of self-independent experience? So I walked in, a couple interviews, whatnot, walked into my current employer, number 5 in the country in orthopedics rehab, so really excited about that.
Say their name so they don't.
NYU Langone Health.
There you go, good.
Outpatient ortho. I walked in there, and in my interview, they said to me, "How are you going to lead in this clinic?" Right? And just to set the scene, we have 50 physical therapists in my clinic. It's one of the biggest clinics I've ever been in. Very impressive. Almost all of them are board certified. OCS, mostly are OCS, some NCS, some sports, double certified. And they asked me this question.
Tough question
as a new grad, right? How am I going to differentiate myself? And I went back to what I know, and I said, I can share my knowledge about APTA. And I got hired. I started 3 months into the job. I sat down with my supervisor, and they told me one of the reasons you were hired was because we have 50 physical therapists here who are amazing clinicians, who are so skilled, so knowledgeable in clinical care. Not even half of them are APTA members.
Wow.
And no one's giving this education, right? Less than a year in, I bring Senator Gillibrand into the clinic, going back to my federal advocacy. From everything I learned in being involved as a student within APTA, right? All those things, those experiences, my network, that purpose that I created helped me, make my mark in a clinic full of people that know way more than me clinically. And so I think that's what comes down as a new grad, being able to have those opportunities and knowledge to separate yourself, get to where you want to be, and continuing filling your cup. Because we all got into this because we want to help people, right? And every day that feels great when your patients do well. Not all will do well, most of them will. But what else are you going to fill your cup with? Burnout is a big thing in this profession, and people love that burnout word, right? But like you said, what are you doing about burnout? There's a lot you can do. Continuously try to fill your cup up. And for me, that's going out and giving presentations to the communities, right? That's living in Manhattan and being able to bring my expertise, my knowledge to hotels and restaurants and how my services can be helpful for them. It's going out and teaching my coworkers about federal advocacy, about the House of Delegates. It's about going to the House of Delegates and standing up in front of the 400 biggest leaders in the profession and giving my opinion or my experience. That continues to fill my cup, and that's why I believe I'm not going to burn out in this profession.
Love that. I mean, when I was in PT school, we had access to essentially all the knowledge that human beings have ever had in history. That's called Google. And right now, you have a computer that can synthesize it and talk to you about it. I'm just telling you, those are both powerful things. People are typically faster routes to information and feeling, and that's what you're looking for.
When I first started in New York, so I was originally starting in New Jersey as practicing for a short period of time. I was at RWJ Barnabas for a little bit. I moved to Manhattan, and I had trouble getting my license through. And so I went back to my network, who I made as a student, and I kept calling the Office of Professions of New York, and they said, "No, you're sitting on a desk, I reached out to the president of APTA New York and a big lobbyist in the New England area. The next day, my license was through.
Wow, how'd that happen? People.
Magic.
Yeah. So they say it's not what you know, it's who you know. I will go one step further. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's actually not who you know. It's what do they know about you. Let's say you're just the loudest pain in the ass in the room. Oh, I know that guy. He sucks. If they thought Matt sucked, his license would not only be not on that table, be the bottom of the pile, right? So it's not just who you know, what you know, it's who you know, but it's what they know about you. Right? I mean, brand, you want to talk about brand, I got a degree in communications. You could ask 50 people in communications or marketing or PTs what brand is. I like to say it walks in the room before you do, and it's there long after you are. It's what's said when you're not around.
Can you connect with people?
Can you connect with people?
We're healthcare workers, but we are in a people industry. And less than 2 years into my profession, into my career, I'm learning that, it doesn't take a genius to get someone better or back to what they were doing, but can you connect with every different personality that walks in that door? And can you connect with them to make them, buy into what you're doing?
Simple, right? Not easy. And that can be a talent or skill. You guys know the difference between talents and skills? A lot of times they're independent. A woman by the name of Angela Duckworth wrote this great book called Grit. Did you ever hear Grit? It's everywhere for a hot 10 minutes. I'll give you a mathematical equation. Coming from me, that's a stretch, but we'll do math. Talent is what you're born with. LeBron was born talented. If he didn't do anything, he wouldn't be in the NBA, even with that amount of talent. So talent times effort equals skill. Skill times effort equals achievement. I'm not a math expert, but Dr. Duckworth explained, even in those two equations, it means effort is squared. Squared. That's a lot in simple terms, right, from a journalism major. But it shows you that if you could put effort into the things that matter, I'm not saying don't go to CU courses or study clinically, but who you know helps, and what they know about you helps tremendously.
Absolutely.
You also hosted a podcast while you were a student. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, so I think that was, I'm someone who I can't draw, I can't paint, but I love having a creative outlet, right? And, being in PT school, it's great, and you can be creative in your treatments in the clinic and stuff like that, but it is a little, you got to know the information and stuff like that. So I had that itch, I had that creative itch, and that's something I was chasing. And so in PT school, that was making a podcast with a couple friends of mine also involved in the APTA. And it was really cool. We were giving the students a voice at that time. We looked at the different podcasts that were out there. We said, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of podcasts in PT giving opinions and certain things and, very focused on certain settings or specialties, but there wasn't one for the student, made by students, talking to the students and for the students.
Only a student can host that.
Only a student can host that.
Right.
Correct.
What's the largest, so you got orthopedics, pediatrics, geriatrics, New York, California. What is the largest component in the APTA?
Students.
Yeah,
students,
look at that.
About a third of APTA members are student members.
I'm not a mathematician, but a third's a lot.
Yeah. We need more clinicians too.
Yeah.
We need more clinician members too.
Are you still doing the podcast, or that's something you're scratching the creative itch in some other ways now?
Yeah, definitely scratching creative issues in a couple ways. A couple different ways. We haven't put a ton of focus on it. Like you said, I think I don't know if we fumbled the bag, but I feel like when you weren't students anymore, it kind of lost its luster. We probably could have passed it off. But I'm always looking now for different ways as a clinician, moving to
who might host that next? Yeah, I don't
need
know.
some auditions.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe who would want to host that?
It's very fun.
Best piece of advice. If you were sitting there right now, what is the piece of advice you were like, I wish I could just go backwards through time and give it to a PT or PTA student? What is the best piece of advice you give?
Talk to people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't be afraid to put yourself in a room, put yourself in a position to talk to people, know people, and that's how you learn. Obviously, you're going into the books every day, and that's great, but I think more of the learning was outside of the classroom, going to conferences, or whatever that creative itch for you is. And just because it may not be clinical. It may not be clinical.
Right, no.
Like,
it doesn't have
you don't have to do everything clinical, right? You can have other revenue streams growing, as you go. That's not clinical. Relationship streams. I love that word.
Yeah,
that's
I just
a
made
great
that
way
up.
to put it.
Okay.
And so don't be afraid, right? There's a lot of things as a student you're hearing that's pretty scary in the profession that are being promoted about pay and practice and burnout, and maybe you're thinking to yourself, oh God, you're having that oh shoot moment, right?
I see what you did there.
I'm telling you, this is a very amazing profession. We need more creativity in it, and I think that's all us next generation to create and continue to push forward.
People are the answer. Yeah. And when you talk to someone, here's a life hack: make it about them. Freshman and sophomore year, man, I got a lot of first dates. Not so many second dates, none. And then I realized, because during the first dates I was talking all about me and how smart I was and how I played these sports, and then no calls after that. And the life hack was, if you make it about them, it's the sexiest thing anybody ever hears. Their own name being whispered by someone else. You have their attention. So maybe make it about them.
I think that's great, right? Because as a student, when you're at conferences, when you're talking to people, you might not have the confidence, or like, okay, APTA president's right there. How do I go up and talk to him?
Hey, big fan of your work. Thanks for doing what you do. Thank you.
It's a good tip.
Yeah. Help me understand. Help me understand is a great, someone who disagrees with you or agrees with you, or you just want to meet. Help me understand is a great universal skeleton key to start a lot of conversations.
I love that.
All right, you ready to do your parting shot?
Absolutely.
All right, Matt, parting shot. What do you got?
Take out those headphones when you're walking to class, when you're on a bus, when you're on a plane. Take out those headphones, look up, and don't be afraid to say hello. My name is, what do you do? You never know who you're sitting next to. Brian Miller once taught me that. I love your hat. Go check it out. Great TED Talk speaker. And I think it can take us a lot of different places that you may not expect.
Let's hear it from Matt Glassoff, everybody.
Thank you.